Next up, a vital match in the top flight as last season's runners-up Motherwell took on rock-bottom Hearts, who were desperate for points. Michael Stewart was on hand to see his old team.
Despite the fact that Hearts fans had been dealt a body blow since the start of the season, over 1,200 hardy souls had made the journey west.
It's still a worry that we've lost quite a few games on the trot, so we're looking at coming here and maybe potentially picking up some points. Even a point would be okay, but if we could get 3, it'd be even better.
We can get right behind them again, the young boys, and you never know. There's a lot of talent in that team. Admittedly they're young, but I think we can do it.
Their league position may have cast them adrift without a lifeboat, but no one should doubt the commitment of these resolute fans to guide them back to safety. Both teams came out knowing that every game from here on in would be important. Within the first half hour, Brad Mackay, who had been reinstated to the visitors' defence, blocked an Ian Viger's shot with his hand, and there was a penalty appeal from Motherwell. Gunnar Nielsen had a quiet first half, but was called into action in the closing minutes when McGee's pass sent Jamie Walker through, but Nielsen blocked the shot before making another impressive save from David Smith. Within 2 minutes of the second half, John Sutton headed the ball into the side netting before piling on more pressure, only for Jamie McDonald to deny the former Jambo a goal. There was something of a shock though in the 61st minute when Hearts took the lead, catching Motherwell with a classic breakaway. Stevenson made a delightful run from 30 yards, followed by a couple of stepovers before thumping the ball low past Nielsen and into the net, much to the delight of the large travelling support. With the home side behind, the Steelmen looked to their bench for inspiration, and 18-year-old debutant Craig Moore, who had been deemed surplus to requirements at Hearts as a 15-year-old, provided it. Having been on the pitch for seconds, the youngster promptly scored and drew his team level with a stunning 25-yard strike that flew past McDonald. It was his first touch in top-flight football and an impressive impact substitute that paved the way for a spirited Motherwell comeback. It was also now one apiece. With 7 minutes remaining, Viger swung in a corner from the right, allowing centre-back Hutchinson to head the ball into the ground before it bounced up and beyond McDonald for Motherwell's second, giving them all 3 points. Full-time saw a disconsolate Hearts side wondering how they will catch up with the rest of the pack.
If we let our heads go down, all that will happen is the gap will get bigger. Start feeling sorry for ourselves, we'll not give ourselves any chance. So, we've just got to get back to the training ground Monday morning, work hard again. And, first goal, for me, there's nothing you could do about that. It's a wonder strike for the boy, but we certainly defend the second one better.
All credit to Hearts youngsters. I thought they, give everything they had. But I think over the piece, we deserved the victory and needed the 3 points, as you say.
Well, with 2 former Motherwell men here, we should really start with the Steelmen. Scott, your old team again, off to a great start. Yeah, they're going about the business quietly. I think everyone's tipped Aberdeen to be the second spot this year, but I think Motherwell are going to be up there, near the end of the season, and they've had to find about 3 or 4, key players again this year after, letting go of a couple, and McCall's doing a fantastic job there. They're all working to the system again, all the new signings, it looks like the ones that have been integrated, Stephen.
Well, they are, and I think the best way to convince players things are going right, Dal, is by winning games. They've won 4 out of 5 at home this season. I think they've only lost 1 in their last 8, so that convinces players that things are going right. The squad's evolved, the manager's evolved, but they're still winning football matches. As for Hearts, only 1 point now from their last 6 games, and after the great start, that's a devastating defeat again, Scott.
It was always going to be a tough task this year, obviously with the deficit at the start of the season and having hands tied, not being able to bring in players at all and a young squad, and obviously to start with, these guys are fresh and they're hungry. As the season goes along, experience does take its toll, I feel, and when you start to lose games, confidence goes in young players as well. It's how they react from that, and Gary Locke will have to keep lifting them up and seeing if he can get them back on track.
Yeah, they look forward to the January transfer window when that embargo to remember in Scotland, kick-started by the national team taken on by our club sides. William McIlvanney reflects.
Scotland continues to rise under the astute tutelage of Gordon Strachan. While Brazil may be out of the question, Strachan is at least providing some answers. On the domestic front, a resilient Hibernian provided a tough lesson for the visiting champions. A tougher war of attrition surely waits as they prepare for the Dutch maestros of Ajax. Inverness Caledonian Thistle gave ground at the top of the table when Partick Thistle inflicted their first home defeat of the season on them. Butcher was left bemused. Partick were perfect. Elsewhere, it was All Saints' Day. St Mirren beat St Johnstone in a match that recorded 7 goals. and saw the Buddies record their first home win of the season. Kilmarnock's wait for their first Premiership victory ended against Ross County. On this form, it won't be their last. Meanwhile, Hearts can only look on with envy as the points gather above them. They are rock bottom on -7 points. Football can be a tough equation.